So Darius in California thinks that his argument disproves the Abrahamic God.
Oh.
Darius, go for it.
Yes, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, so yeah, I got an argument that I believe disproves the Abrahamic God. And I haven't heard anyone use this argument before, so I just coined it the logical problem of perfection. So I'll just need you all to just like play the part of the like any Abrahamic God believer of your choosing.
Okay.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready. You're going to hell.
Okay, got it. All right.
Hell is real and you're gonna burn there.
All right.
Go for it, Darius.
But so premise one, God exists.
Okay.
Hello? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, gotcha.
Oh, and just
agreed.
For the if you agree with the premise, just say yes, and if not, you can say no, and then we can discuss why you don't. So I'll go on to premise two. Premise two, God can't defy the laws of logic.
I don't know about that one, really. I don't know. I genuinely
Depends
don't
on a
know
lot of things.
what most theists would say. I think that some might just say he can.
So if
some would say God can do anything.
You say he. You say he can. Okay, so then I mean, if they disagree with that, I would just go into I'm saying an explanation of like, okay, so if they say God can defy the laws of logic, I would just say so God can do things like he can sin and he can't sin at the same time. He can do things like lie and not lie.
Yeah, the example that we had before the show, actually, we were discussing this. Someone said, can God make a burrito too hot for him to eat?
Right.
So
whenever I hear questions like that, most theists answer, well, the theists that I've seen, most theists answer like, no, God can only do things that's logically possible. Like with the question, can God make a rock that's too heavy for him to lift? Then they just say that, no, he can only do things that's logically possible because that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? At least that's what I hear. I don't know.
Yeah. I
So
think
did
that
he
most would
understand why
concede to
someone
that.
would.
So did he not give his son the power to turn water into wine? Like, because that to me doesn't seem logically possible. Or his blood into wine as well, like the transmutation thing. Can he do that or not? Sorry, I'm like jumping back on your side now. I forgot. I have to be a Christian. Okay.
Yeah,
so that's the question I'm asking myself.
I don't know if that would be. Yeah, I was about to say I don't know if that would be a logical contradiction since it's not water and not water. It would just be water and then something else. So I don't really think that. But yeah.
Right, you mean like raw logical
premise
contradictions?
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
it's specific. Got you.
So premise two, would y'all agree God can't defy the laws of logic? If you're playing a part of a
we'll give you that one. I think if you delivered it in this way, where you're like, oh, do you agree with this? They'll have a massive argument about this and they'll stop you getting to the next one. So I think it might be best to just be like, obviously God can't break the rules that God created, right? And they'll be like, yeah. And then you can be like, right, cool, next. But yeah, any case, hit us with premise three.
Okay, premise three. God is all perfect.
Yep, that's true.
I think Christian would say yes.
Actually true.
Okay. Okay, got it. Premise four. God is an all perfect creator. So some of these premises are kind of repetitive just to like really drive the point home because sometimes, people could not only just theists, but people could kind of get like at the end, they'll be like, no, I didn't agree to that, but you did. So I like to kind of drive the point home with these premises. Okay, so agreed on premise four?
Obviously.
Okay, got it.
I always say that about God.
Premise Premise five. God created everything.
Yep. Including mayonnaise. because he hates people. Oh, we just found out that we're not friends. Live on the show. Sorry, Darius, quick, change the subject. What's premise 6?
Premise 6. God created human beings.
Yep.
Of course.
Premise 7. Human beings are not perfect.
Yep.
Definitely.
That's a core Christian premise, actually.
Yeah, that's what sin's all about.
Okay, got it. So the conclusion is God cannot exist because he is defined as all perfect, mentioned in premise 3, which would mean that he is a perfect creator, mentioned in premise 4, which would mean that everything he creates has to be perfect.
Oh, I don't know if that actually follows. I think that a perfect creator should be able to make something imperfect. They could choose to do that. I don't see why it's a restriction. Like the action he would make would be perfect action. If he was like, I'm going to make something that is imperfect, he would do that flawlessly.
He would do that perfectly.
Yeah, he would do it. He would perfectly make something imperfect. He would do what he set out to do exactly.
So would you say imperfection is not perfection?
No, but I think that the perfection, if to be a perfect creator means to create exactly what you wanted to create, doesn't necessarily mean creating something that is perfect. Right?
Well, I'm saying if he's a perfect creator, if everything he creates has to be perfect, like following that logic.
Yeah, I just don't know if that
not necessarily.
Yeah.
Also, like, what does perfect even mean?
Right.
I think it's subjective, right?
That's what that would be like. Yeah, it would. I believe it is subjective, but like not according to like Abrahamic theology.
The Bible.
That's the kind of mindset I tried to get into for this argument. Because it's kind of like really black and white. There's kind of like things that aren't subjective that I find to be subjective, but they find it to be objective, like God being perfect. I don't really know what that would mean, but to them, I guess it means like he can't make mistakes and stuff like that. And I don't know. I would think that an all-perfect being can't create something that's not perfect.
So I guess the Christian answer
because
to this
he's all
would
perfect
be
in every way.
There is just from talking to some of my Christian friends, the answer I know that they would give is God didn't want to just create these like mindless automatons that are machines built to worship him. He wanted to build things that had the choice of whether to worship and love him or not. So in order to do that, he had to give them the power to do things he didn't agree with and just guide them and tell them not to do them, but they have to be able to do them. So in that sense, he is set out to create the perfect being, as it perfect in the sense of being able to choose to love him or not. And the only way you could do that was if they could do things that you considered imperfection. So in a sense, he has created the perfect human beings. I think that's what they'd say.
Right, and I understand that answer because they would just say that, human beings, I think I hear a lot of theists say, well, human beings like Adam and Eve were perfect, but then they became imperfect or not perfect through like sin and free will. But I would say that since God created everything, he created sin and free will. So they all
I'd agree. Yeah. I think that's the argument that I'd bring up. Like, God created the devil, didn't he? So that was an active choice that he made.
Yes, so the devil. And I also have another argument for that. Well, it's kind of like the logical problem with evil, but except I use sin because, like, I don't know, the devil, and they can say that. But yeah, that's another argument I also have. But yeah, with the whole, I hear theists bring that up a lot with the Abrahamic God. It's like, well, no, human beings fail because of sin and because of free will. But I'm like, sin and free will, like it would still follow that all of that stuff would be perfect and we would still be perfect. But you don't think that we are perfect. So where did the imperfection come in at?
I think
I can see that.
That would be my
on the free will thing, I often point out that like people often say free will as if you have all choices available to you, or no free
Mm.
will as in you don't have any
Yeah.
choice at all. But we actually have a limit, like whether we have, whether the universe is deterministic or not. If we just ignore that and say we have choices, we only have a certain amount of choices. Like I could, like quit the show right now, get up and punch my screen. That is a choice I can make, and obviously I'm not very incentivized to do it. But I couldn't jump up now and punch the sun out of the sky. That is literally not a choice I can make. But God could have designed humans to be able to do that. Like he could have said, humans can punch stars out of the sky. And there's no reason why. I mean, he let us do other horrible things. So really, if there was all choices available to us, that's like true free will, you could say. And if there's no choices available to us, that's like no free will. But he's given us this like select subset where he has chosen which things we can do. Like if I was a horrible person, I could kill my cat, but I couldn't turn my cat into 6 other cats. So he has chosen that I should be allowed to murder, but he's chosen that I shouldn't be allowed to, fly. So he's
Or like,
obviously decided that murder is more okay for me than flying for some reason. Because flying, like he's told me not to murder. Like, okay, guys, please don't murder. But he's been like, you cannot fucking breathe underwater, no matter what you do, mate. Don't even try it. Waste of time.
Yeah.
Not happening. And so to me, it sounds like
Yep.
breathing
He
underwater
actually
is
didn't
more
even tell
forbidden
you
by
that.
God than murder is.
Yep.
You had to find out
So
you
that's-
couldn't breathe underwater on your own. He didn't tell you.
Right, that's true too.
But
Yes, I feel like
But,
I had a vibe for it before.
And another
before I
thing
tried.
being just that, like, when you talk about the free will in the sense of telling you to worship me, being like, I'll give you free will, so I'm not going to force you to worship me. But like, if you don't worship me, I'm going to torture you for all of eternity. But it's your choice.
yeah,
It's your choice to make.
a choice.
It's just
but
if you
yeah.
choose not to, then you'll be tortured for all of eternity. So,
You can do whatever you want, but if you
If
do
you
the thing
make
I
the
don't
wrong
want, I'm
choice,
going to
I'll
hit you with a
hurt you.
hammer.
yeah.
Mhm. Exactly that. So overall, what do you all think of my argument that I proposed?
I think we both said that the if you're perfect, you have to create perfect things. Is maybe, I don't know. What did you think, Sin? Maybe that's the weak
Yeah,
point.
that's kind of like the flawed premise. I mean, to us, it's like, yes, 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 yes. But, to argue from the other side and just be like, that's definitely like the flawed premise. Because if you are perfect,
What
you
you
would
said,
perfectly make something that's imperfect. Like you could definitely do
If you
that.
want it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would, and I mean, I understand that imperfect basically means not perfect, but I would also like keep using not perfect, since that would be a logical contradiction, because it can't be like perfect and
Right.
not perfect at the same time.
Yeah.
But wait, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, like creating something that's perfectly not perfect. Do you see a problem with that? Instead of saying,
I
like,
don't think
creating
so.
something
I just feel
perfectly
like
imperfect?
I feel so. I mean, obviously not quite the level of God, but like I think there are some musicians, and pretty much everything they do is just like perfect.
Perfect.
Like the Canadian band Protest the Hero, they are perfect, and everything they set out to do, they fucking smash it, and it is 10 out of 10 amazing. But if they wanted to, they could go up on stage and just make a mess, and they would be creating something imperfect, even though they are perfect creators. I don't know. It's not really the same because they're not gods, but I
don't know.
I just
Yeah,
feel
Trent
like
Reznor is a god.
It's a little different with the God thing. And I understand,
Well-
'cause, like, perfection to me is subjective, because it's like you can say that anything is perfect. But with, like, from a theist perspective, especially with the Abrahamic religions, they feel like God is this perfect, all good, just can't do anything wrong being. Like with certain, I mean, works of art, and I mean just anything that we perceive as perfect, it can be perfect to us, but it's like, that's just my opinion, you know what I'm saying? But like when they refer to God as perfect, to them that's not an opinion. It's like it's subjective and it can't be wrong. So that's, I don't know, that's the
Well, yes, and that's why basically if you're arguing with theists and using this list of false premises and whatnot, I mean, they're still just gonna find a reason to argue against you, or they'll just be like, nope,
By the way,
faith. I mean, right? Isn't that the answer at the end always? Faith? You know?
Oh no, I definitely understand it. And I mean, I don't really see how they could like wiggle the faith part into it. I mean, they could just say faith, and then they could be enough for them. But like usually with this kind of arguments, with the with like, oh, people were perfect or people are bad and stuff like that, they usually say free will, you know, free will this, free will that, sin, the fall of man, and all that stuff. But like I said, I would just bring up that God created all of that, so it has to be perfect following your logic. But no, I definitely understand that theists they are, I wouldn't say they're good at wiggling their way out of arguments, but they flail and they do it a lot. But
and then it's okay.
I mean, that's all I had for you all. If y'all didn't have anything else for me.
No, but thank you so much for calling. That was a great talk. And yeah, thanks for calling, and call back some other time as well. And I think
I want to present my argument another time also. And thank you.
Okay, that sounds great. Awesome.
Have a good one.